Welcome to this untouched planet that resembles Earth so much that you can even breathe without a space suit, but don't relax just yet. Within a few hours, things take a turn for the worse. Tests show your blood is contaminated with prions, tiny proteins with the wrong shape, forcing human proteins to also transform. Such a chemical glitch happening in your imperfect body is totally deadly, meaning that colonizing this toxic planet is practically impossible. Kim Stanley Robinson described this grim space expansion in his 2015 novel titled *Aurora*, also shedding light on another answer to the famous Fermi paradox. Named after the novel, the Aurora effect suggests that no civilization survives in space because whatever its representatives look like, they are biologically incapable of living there. High-tech ships and suits won't change this. So if we really want to colonize space beyond virtual realms, we'll have to take evolution into our own hands and seriously alter our bodies. What exactly do we need to do with our organisms to go from Homo sapiens to Homo galacticus? NASA believes that to conquer space, humans first need to tackle two issues: microgravity and high-energy cosmic radiation. Both affect astronauts even in Earth's orbit as soon as they reach the International Space Station. We're so adapted to our planet's conditions that we rapidly lose bone and muscle mass in zero gravity. This may lead to fractures and overall cardiovascular degeneration. That's why astronauts have to do hours of exercise daily, but it's still just a temporary fix. So NASA's already considering gene therapy using the CRISPR mechanism. Simply put, for long space flights, astronauts will be artificially endowed with genes that let their bones and muscles regenerate and recover better with fewer exercises. However, even CRISPR can't modify our finely tuned vestibular system, which must distinguish up from down. Even trained astronauts occasionally lose spatial orientation in zero gravity and make mistakes that could result in disaster on lengthy missions. So perhaps in the future, we should take a cue from the heroes of the famous space opera *Crest of the Stars* by Japanese author Hiroyuki Muroka. They're all representatives of the AB Empire, which is actively conquering space, have a special organ on their foreheads for orientation in space. Essentially, it's a third eye with over 100 million receptors connected to a special brain area for processing spatial information. However, these and other adaptations to microgravity came to the AB through total genome editing and reproduction in test tubes. This seems to be true as natural childbirth outside of Earth is almost certainly impossible due to high levels of radiation, which the fetus is extremely sensitive to. Even an adult's DNA won't hold up against brutal cosmic radiation, meaning that cancerous tumors will develop throughout the body within a single decade. Moreover, the same fate threatens Mars settlers lacking a protective magnetic field. Currently, NASA medical consultants propose using the same CRISPR technology to insert genes that can quickly repair DNA from radiation-resistant microorganisms into colonists. But let's face it, this is like trying to reinforce and rebuild a burning house without putting out the fire. If there's no significant breakthrough in creating lightweight materials with reliable radiation protection, we have to make some extremely radical decisions. As the American writer Frederick Pohl predicted quite long ago in 1976, he published the truly revolutionary sci-fi novel *Man+*, where he first described the process of human adaptation to Martian conditions using cybernetic implants. The main character, Roger Torroway, gradually has his vital body parts, skin, skeleton, and even sensory organs replaced with artificial enhanced analogs. As a result, Roger becomes an insect-like cyborg and stops considering himself human. Moreover, in this form, he can't return to Earth because he can no longer breathe there and would suffer severe sensory shock. Imagine how much needs to be sacrificed to colonize the nearest planet. But I believe scientists will eventually find a way to fundamentally adapt humans to space conditions by combining different methods. Actually, a future similar to this is depicted in the sci-fi universe of *EVE Online Star. In this strategy game, humans colonize the solar system over hundreds of years, modifying themselves very gradually and cautiously. It was only about small brain implants to enhance thinking for better orientation and quicker decision-making in a world of high speeds and constant competition for resources. Physiological problems of microgravity and radiation were solved purely through advancement of medicine, in other words, through accessible and effective reconstructive therapy. However, even if we won't undergo such significant changes as the AB Empire representatives or *man plus * characters, the journey to the stars will require much greater sacrifices. That's mainly because of the immense distances between systems, which are difficult to even imagine. Yes, the nearest star to the Sun, Proxima Centauri, lies slightly over 4 light-years away. If we shrink our Sun to the size of a dollar coin, Proxima Centauri would be the size of a penny and placed about 710 kilometers away. So if the dollar ends up in Detroit, the penny would be in New York. But at this scale, you definitely can't just hop behind the wheel and cover this distance in a few hours. If the Sun were a dollar in Detroit, you'd be a helpless microbe somewhere near the coin, and within your short life of 12 hours, you won't even manage to crawl out of the city. In space, ships are also limited. Accelerating to even 10% of the speed of light by conventional means is very difficult. That's why the European Space Agency plans for the future exploration of stars through the Hyperion project, which is working on the so-called generation ship. Just like in Kim Stanley Robinson's *Aurora*, it's designed to accommodate 40,000 people, and only their descendants will reach the destination hundreds of years later. The journey is extremely dangerous because colonists born on the ship might refuse the mission altogether and instigate a revolt. At least the potential risk is pretty high. So why not try to somehow transform those who chose to move to a distant star? In Richard K. Morgan's series of science fiction novels called *Altered Carbon*, space travelers look like this. They're known as cortical stacks, essentially special flash drives with uploaded human consciousness. It can either be sent to an uncharted system on a ship that will fly for thousands of years or transmitted much faster than light to any colony where the traveler will be recorded back onto a stack and inserted into a new biological body. However, individuality may be lost, as you'll eventually have countless copies of yourself scattered across the galaxy. Maybe we'd better resort to biological life extension methods, don't you think? In *Dune*, the legendary book series by Frank Herbert, absolutely all characters are enhanced humans who can live for centuries. This ability lets them be fully involved in interstellar politics. In *Dune*, prolonged life became possible thanks to the genetic engineers of the Bin Tleilax. Most likely, they learned to halt chromosome degeneration in human cells and thus greatly slowed down aging. Besides, these experts could basically custom design colonists, perfectly adapting them to the planet's conditions. The Bin Tleilax could easily have saved the settlers from *Aurora* from the poisonous influence of microscopic prions. But the most dramatic changes are undergone by navigators who are tasked with plotting complex routes through hyperspace. Indeed, these creatures were once humans. These horrific mutations into mermaid-like beings are caused by consuming large quantities of melange. This rare substance not only extends life but is also necessary to activate hyperspace navigation, thinking, and do complex calculations. In *Dune*, people don't use supercomputers due to an AI uprising. Yet even without such problems in the future, living analogs of electronic systems may become essential for interstellar travel. Even now, during missions to Mars and other planets, various probes are often bombarded by high-energy cosmic rays, sometimes leading to errors in the onboard computers. And what if the same thing happens in deep space? If a catastrophe can be prevented by a mutant navigator in an aquarium with chemicals, future interstellar travelers will definitely order it from genetic engineers. However, fictional worlds also warn us that these adaptations can go too far. In *EVE Online*, the Jovians seized a large portion of the star systems in New Eden, solving every problem through radical DNA editing and implantation. Any modifications were permitted, so within a few hundred years, the Jovians began to look like aliens compared to ordinary people. But the price for interstellar expansion proved too high. Their still human brains simply couldn't handle all these changes. They were struck by the so-called Jovian disease, a mysterious genetic syndrome that inevitably led to madness and death, and all attempts to cure it failed. As a result, the Jovian Empire declined and isolated itself from the rest of the peoples of New Eden. However, in my opinion, even such horrific examples are unlikely to stop the progress of human transformation outside of Earth. Because like it or not, numerous new states will inevitably emerge in the endless vastness of space. This will lead to wars and arms races, so there's simply no chance for human biology to remain the same as it was on our comfy home planet. Indeed, the trio of Brits Brian Ansell, Rick Priestley, and Richard Hollowell realized this back in the 80s and created a grim future of tabletop games and novels called *Warhammer*, where the Imperium of Man has been waging bloody conquests for millennia with the help of deeply modified space marines. They possess a total of 19 genetic implants, turning them into perfect killing machines and compensating for the vulnerabilities of the regular human body. Each marine is transplanted with a second heart to increase endurance and physical strength, and the ribs around it fuse to create a large bone shield. A special gland implanted into the brain through the nose is responsible for this. It also forces the body to grow and accumulate muscle mass until the warrior reaches almost 2.5 meters in height. Such a giant needs a lot of energy, so thanks to other implants, he can eat and digest almost anything, including inorganic substances. He can also absorb memories from consumed flesh, similar to how the bean Tleilax from *Dune* can access the knowledge of their ancestors. Even wounds that would be fatal for ordinary people pose no problem for a space marine, thanks to an extra set of lungs and hyper-effective artificial blood with biocomponents to quickly clot and stop bleeding. However, these superior fighters are definitely not human anymore. Their brains contain numerous artificially created structures for extended memory and better decision-making in battle. They can also fully control sleep and wakefulness. Therefore, space marines only retain vestiges of humanity and primarily resemble cyborgs, yet this shows just how far transformation is possible, even in the near future. So I believe that in our universe, the future of Homo sapiens looks exactly like this, but I won't be surprised if we start taking our evolution into our own hands in just a few decades. And then every one of us, as happened in *Warhammer*, will be genetically modified from birth to better withstand radiation, extreme conditions, and the effects of old age. Thus, our present selves will be left behind for good. What will emerge from this? Time will tell.